I'm going to make a video on something today I wanted to make a video on like for forever. And that is why people go apeshit when you try really hard at something, otherwise referenced as tryharding. Now, for me personally, I really put in my best effort on almost everything I do. I'm not going to say I put in my best effort 100% of the time, 24 hours a day. I'm not going to come up with some way to, like, you know, masterfully take a shit on the toilet, although I have before. And so, you know, I understand not doing this 100% of the time. But the thing is it's become this negative connotation to try hard at what you're doing, and I don't understand why. Like, let's say you're trying really hard to, I don't know, write a book, or more prevalently, I should say, this is usually used in video games. Like, let's say you're trying your best in, like, you know, League of Legends or some other competitive game to win. You're then called a tryhard, and this is seen as a negative thing. Now, I don't know why this is seen as a negative thing that you're trying your best to win, because the alternative is you don't give a shit about winning. And if you don't give a shit about winning, why are you playing a competitive game? Like, I don't really understand that. Like, are you playing to lose? Are you playing to, like, if you're playing to not give a shit, then why are you playing a competitive game? Like, why don't you play something that's not competitive, and then you don't have to try about winning? Like, something where you don't have to win. Why not just play something that there's no end goal, like a open world game, or, you know, a building game, or something else like that, you know, Minecraft, where you don't really have to, like, you know, have a end conclusion. I know there's the end of the game, but you know what I mean, you know, something like that. And then, you know, of course you might say, well, what if I like competitive games, but I just don't want to, you know, try my hardest to win and stuff like that? Well, I'm not saying you have to fucking buckle down and get on, you know, like solo mid or some shit and like study every single strategy possible and have a goddamn graph up on the wall figuring out what to do. I'm not saying you have to do that. But I just don't understand why, when people put in a amount of effort at all to win on any competitive video game or anything competitive or whatever else, you know, it's seen as being try-hard, you know, and why that's a negative thing. It's like if, I don't know, I just have the mentality that if you're playing a competitive game, you should play to win. Otherwise, you're basically just blowing, like, you know, 45 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour or whatever else of your time. What the hell's the point? Like, again, there's a difference between playing to win and, you know, like, you don't have to take it to the extreme of being a fucking expert on it. But at least play with the mentality of, I want to win this game. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. People should not be put down for playing with the mentality of, I want to win. I don't understand why that's a bad thing. And what gets me more so is this leads back to the whole, you know, like there's so many double standards when it comes to a lot of things in video games and a lot of things in new mediums of making stuff, and not even new mediums for creative stuff, but just in general. Like, I realize this vlog may be kind of like, you know, rambling and kind of incoherent, so sorry about that one, but just jumping from topic to topic on this. But I mean, like, let's take, for example, a football player, or, you know, a competitive Olympic, you know, gymnast or something like that. It's like these people work their ass off, like, fucking 8 hours a day, you know, 7 days a week sometimes, you know, to do what they do. And yet this is seen as a positive. This is like an endearing trait. This is like, this person really works hard. This person really just puts in effort, and they're a hard worker, and they're a good person and all this other stuff, you know, and then they're like, whatever. And so it's like, why is that seen as a positive, to literally blow like 40 hours a week on something competitive, but playing to win on a single game is seen as a bad thing? And the only conclusion I can reach with this is it goes back to the classic double standard that is still in our society, sadly. It's not in other societies, not as bad at least, but it is in other societies, where video games are considered to be not as serious as any other given thing that it relates to. You know, like, if you are a competitive video gamer, you're not taken as seriously as somebody who is a competitive football player, whatever else. And, you know, you're not even taking, and you can't even argue, like, you know, it's the body thing, you know, or whatever else, like, oh, well, it's because it's of the mind, because, like, competitive chess players, and I think even, like, competitive poker players and stuff like that, something where a lot of luck is involved, along with the skill involved, are definitely taken more seriously than competitive gamers. And I don't think that's right, obviously, because I think they put in just as much time and effort and so forth, but there's still that stigma in our society and many others where if it's video gaming, gaming is meant for fun. Gaming is meant for casual entertainment. It's not meant for that. And this is what brings me to my main point, is that there's this mentality that fun cannot equal trying hard or competitive gameplay. And I don't know where this stemmed out of, that, like, the classic counter to, why would you not try hard to play a game? The classic counter is, I just want to have fun. Now, again, I'm not going to deny, you know, I play some games sometimes, and I'm not putting in 100% of my effort and so forth, because I've had a stressful day, or I just want to fuck around, or whatever else, you know, I just want to have fun. And that's fine if you just want to have fun. That's perfectly fine. I'm not saying that, you know, you have to be competitive all the time. But what I don't get is that it's used as a counter argument. That if something is competitive, if you're trying hard at something, it can't be fun. And for me, trying really hard at something and accomplishing it, or trying really hard at something and winning, you know, like a competitive game, is fun. It is fun to accomplish things. It is fun to put in your best effort and be rewarded for it, you know? That's fun. So it's like, where did this mentality come out of that those two terms have to be separate? And that, of course, leads me into the next point, which is, for whatever reason, in Western society, especially, like, I don't even exaggerate this is ridiculous. In the past 15 or so years, probably even the past 20 years, we've entered into this culture where everybody must win, everybody must be happy, everybody must be felt like they are a, you know, special snowflake all the time, whatever else. And, you know, everybody is unique. Everybody does have their own talents and skills and worth that they can bring to the world. I've always thought that. I've always thought that's true. But you don't want to bring that mentality about by sugarcoating it, you know? Like, I mean, if you suck at singing, you suck at singing. I'm sorry, you just suck at singing. This doesn't mean that you are a bad person, or, you know, that you don't have any worth to the world, or that you're not special, you know? Like, I'm a terrible artist. Don't ever hire me to draw anything. Fuck no. You know? But that doesn't mean that I don't have something of worth I can bring to the world, you know? I can write. I can edit. I can do all that shit. But it's like, we have this mentality now in Western society where you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that Billy is not good at something. You're not allowed to, you know, lose. That's what it is. You're not allowed to lose. And I don't get this mentality. Like, when you have, like, little league teams, and, like, you know, fucking Team A wins and Team B loses, you know, you gotta tell Team B, well, you're all winners. It doesn't matter whether, you know, fucking this or that. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. And, you know, that's true to some aspect, because, you know, you have to be able to get better at the game by learning. And it's like, if you're just gonna get, you know, fucking upset and stuff like that, you're not gonna learn anything. But you lost. The other team, whether through individual members or their teamwork or some other aspect, is quantifiably better than you at this moment in time. You really shouldn't sugarcoat that, because if you do, you know what happens? Is you create a society where nobody wants to actually try to improve themselves. And that leads back to why there is this stigma now of trying hard. Because if person A and B and C really try hard to get something done, and person D isn't trying, then they're singled out and made to feel bad that they're not trying to put in as much effort as person A, B, and C. But if it becomes a negative connotation to try hard at something, then the people who don't try hard to begin with can now sit back on their laurels and don't have to do anything to improve themselves. So basically, since we have a bunch of people who don't give a shit about improving themselves in America and in Western society, that term has taken hold so strongly, I believe, in our culture. And then, of course, because Western culture, through popular media, and video games are popular media, ends up having an effect on a lot of the rest of the world because of its influence, again, on popular media. That term has affected other places. And subsequently, we've gotten more people who don't like to try shit. So, I mean, that's my whole thing, is it's like, I believe that's the same way. It's almost like in rap culture, how it's a negative thing to be smart. Like, if you're smart, you're a dork. If you're intelligent or well-educated, that's a bad thing. Like, it's bad to be smart. And that even started back as far as, like, the 90s and stuff like that, where it's like, it's bad to be educated and smart and intelligent and try and actually learn things. It's not even about being educated or intelligent. It's about wanting to learn things. That's really what it amounts to. It's considered a bad thing to want to learn things, which of course becomes wanting to better yourself, wanting to have more, knowledge of the world, of, science, math, English, biology, fucking whatever, all that stuff. It's considered to be a bad thing. And that goes hand in hand again with the whole thing of, we don't want to have to do this, so let's make it a bad thing through popular influence, And it's like, you can see that in a bunch of other, what do you call those things? Like, not cultures, that's not the right word, but, like whatever you called gamers or, dancers or whatever, like, subsets of society, the groupings of society. I don't know what the hell to call it. I've been like ranting on this now for what? Where are we at? Like, 11 minutes now. So that's my whole thing, is I really wish that term would go away, and I wish people got rewarded for trying hard at stuff. And fucking vehicle stopped ahead. God damn, bitch, you said it like 5 times. Jesus Christ. I saw the fucking vehicle. Fucking bitch flipped upside down and had fucking 8 dicks up its fucking exhaust pipe. Shit. Anyways, so that's just my whole thing on that. I really think that, people should be rewarded for trying their best at something instead of punished. But, that's the society we're in. It's like, you watch reality TV and all that shit, and all people do is they want to watch reality TV and other shit like that and be like, oh man, this is my life. I want to live the life of Duck Dynasty, of fucking Kim Kardashian. I'm going to live that life and all that other stuff. Well, what they don't realize is there's even less of a chance of you getting to have that kind of a lifestyle as there is, like, of you fucking, getting accepted into, like, the NBA or fucking Mensa Society or some other ridiculous shit, It's just a rare thing. It really is ridiculously rare. And I know that people like to live their lives through these other people, live, like, vicariously through their lives, but it's just not really viable. Like, you should focus on what you can do as a person with your skills and talents, and, carve out your own, etching into the world, so to speak, carve out your own, like, thing you can do, instead of trying to just not give a shit about improving and comparing yourselves to these people that have these extremely rich, extravagant lives, or these people that are like masters of their craft. Because just because you're not, like, super god tier or something, or super rich and famous, doesn't mean you can't have an effect on the world. Doesn't mean you can't do something. It's just, there's a lot you can do as a person, and it's like, improve yourself, learn things, teach yourself stuff. That's even a better way to go about it, I think, honestly, is teaching yourself stuff. It's like, I taught myself how to do video editing, how to do drums, how to do a lot of shit I do. It's like, if you teach yourself, then you'll have your own unique method of doing it, which will be your way of being able to show that you are a unique and special snowflake. So it always comes back around. So I feel like this is a Seinfeld episode or something. I managed to intertwine like 10 different points all into like 5 or 6 different coalescing things, and they all just like ended up on the same, like, we're back at the beginning point. And it started out pretty random and kind of not really coherent, but ended up pretty good, I think. Yeah. Anyway, gonna go though, so that's my whole opinion on that, so see you later.